second try. It's been a week. How many of you have seen what's being done to the East Wing of the White House and how the whole East Wing is being destroyed? A historical landmark for the sake of somebody's ego. To put in a ballroom that's bigger than the whole rest of the White House and putting it in over the top of the bunker, the presidential bunker that is in the East Wing of the White House, where he goes to stay safe during times of war and times when he is in immediate danger. Okay, so here's the progress on the blanket. I've gotten to this color here, which is like a baby blue that's got mint and darker green blues in it. And I'm almost finished with that color and getting ready to switch to a darker color, which will probably be slate blue. And I've got about 10, 15 more little small, I mean, they're just small skins of yarn. And I'm going to use probably most, if not all of them, to finish this up. But it's going to be beautiful when it's finished. And we got the gas is getting back on, like in a couple of days. This is the gas company's fault this time, not my landlord. Because my landlord called me yesterday to let me know that he had managed to get everything worked out. And sometime next week, within the next 5 days, so probably about Wednesday or Thursday of next week, at the latest, we'll have our gas back on. So, yay! We're getting ready for winter time. And everything's been done in the kitchen so that we can do that. And we'll be moving the refrigerator over like in a day or two, because they're going to put another layer of flooring in that one spot where the old hot water heater used to be at, because it's not quite level yet. And yeah, so November 1st, we lose the food stamps because of the shutdown. Because the Republicans are taking themselves another vacation so that they don't have to vote on seating, what's her name from Arizona, who is the Democrat that was elected during a special election, who would be the deciding vote on the Epstein files. They don't care. They don't care how many people starve, as long as ICE gets paid. They don't care how many people starve, as long as Donald Trump can do whatever Donald Trump wants. Do not blame the Democrats on this one. The only thing the Democrats want in that budget is the ACA upheld. Health care for American citizens. They just want our health care taken care of. Illegals were not eligible for the health care to begin with. Just like illegals were not eligible for food stamps or state aid. They were paying in taxes for things that they were not even eligible to receive. But y'all were so determined to get rid of the illegals. And the Republican politicians are so determined that they're going to cover for Donald Trump on the Epstein files And for those members of Congress that were actually part of the client list of Epstein, because there were other politicians that went to the Epstein Island, not just Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. And both of those men are on those files. We know they are. How many names for those people are they trying to cover up for? And that's why they won't negotiate about the budget, get the budget passed. They're saying the Democrats have to do exactly what they want, and they don't have to do anything that the Democrats want, or there's not going to be any government. They're going to leave the government shut down. That's the Republicans doing this. That's not the Democrats. The Democrats are still going into work at the House and the Senate. They're still going in every day. Can't vote on anything. Or they can add their vote, they can vote, but it's not it's not going to pass anything because of the fact that you have to have the Republicans voting too. The Republicans are not even willing to call in their votes on things. So please do not tell me that it's the Democrats' fault that all this is going on. I don't care if both sides are corrupt, because at this point, when it gets to government and politicians, they're all corrupt. They all do stupid stuff. So don't use the excuse that they're all corrupt. It has nothing to do with it. The fact is that one side of the aisle is absolutely refusing to do their job, and they're still getting paid. Whether or not they show up to work, they're still getting paid. A lot of people are still getting paid. Not necessarily the staffers, not necessarily the lower working class that works for the government, but some of these other people, yeah. The rich ones are still getting paid. Why should they? Why should they even cooperate at all with the Democrats? Because they're still getting paid. And as long as they kiss Donald Trump's ass, well, they still got their place in politics. It's getting so bad that even Marjorie Taylor Greene is slamming the Republican Party. And I never thought I would agree with that woman. But the things that she's saying right now is absolutely 100% on target. Anyway, think about it. I hope y'all have a really, really good week ahead. And that if you are, like Patrick and I are, struggling and have to face the fact that in November, food stamps are cut off, and that a lot of the food that would be donated to the food banks, it's being funded by the government. You're not going to see a lot of things that you would have seen. It's going to be very, very short supply on the food unless people like Tyson and the various meat packing companies decide to be extremely generous and donate a bunch of stuff without government funding them to do it. It's going to be in short supply. People are really going to be struggling, and there are going to be people starving. And somebody in ICE said they didn't care how bad the people starved as long as they got paid. They got the biggest chunk out of that big, beautiful bill. They got private jets. They're trying to get all kinds of new armament and even guided missiles to be used on American citizens. Yeah. So don't tell me it's the Democrats. If the Republicans really wanted to see the budget passed and they really wanted the government working again, they'd get off their dead asses and come to Washington and do their job. And then tell Donald Trump to kiss his own ass. If enough people stood up to that man, instead of kissing his ass so that they could get their little favors, he would stop acting like he thinks he's the king of the world. He'd stop being a bully. The only way to deal with a bully is to stand up to him. You refuse to engage and you stand up to him and you let him know that they're not going to get away with what they're doing. You don't cower in fear and you don't kiss their ass, because a bully is never satisfied until somebody bigger and better comes along and thumps him down. The one thing that man is afraid of is if all of us who are American citizens stand united and say, no, no more. He's afraid, totally afraid of Democrats and Republicans and independents gathering together and standing united. 7 million people, well over 3%, 7 million people across the country for one protest. And they're still ongoing, and they're still working towards bringing together the American people in unity and trying to stop ICE from the abuse of power, trying to bring our country back to what it was before. Oh. Keep crafting. I will talk to you later. Love y'all.